kids. So you may remember last year my air conditioner went out, went through a few things trying to get that fixed, ended up putting a compressor in. And it worked great all year long. And now it started leaking. It started a slow leak. I'd have to recharge it every once in a while. Now we're to the point where when I put a can, one of those 12-ounce cans of Freon in it, in a day or two, it's gone. So continuing to just add Freon to it, that's not helping anybody. It's killing my wallet. It's killing the planet. Let's find the leak and fix it, because I like having air conditioning. And that's where this comes in. This ridiculous thing is a purple flashlight. The refrigerant that you put in these days, a lot of it has a green dye to it. And the reason it has that dye in it is because should you have a leak, this little purple flashlight will help you find it. So we're gonna go hunting for green Freon leaks. So I don't really expect to see much up around here. If the Schrader valve were leaking, that thing should just be glowing green, and it's not. It's very purpley. I suspect that the leak, wherever it is somewhere down around the compressor that I put in. I don't know if I left something loose or hitting that deer might have banged the hell out of something. I don't know. Let's go find out. All right, kids, so there's the back of our brand new Denso compressor that we put in last year. And if I take this purple flashlight, oh yeah, see there? See how easy we found that? See that green? Let me see if I can get a closer look. There, you see that, right? Looks like you're at a nightclub. Okay, so we're gonna take this bottom splash guard off and see if this is something we can tighten up and fix, or if I'm gonna need to order a new hose. I really don't know. My neighbors are still trying to clean up this disaster from the storm we had come through a few days ago. Chipper truck out here yesterday. Still got all the stuff up next to the house. I mean, it looks like a hurricane. I survived Hurricane Andrew in South Florida in the 90s, and this really has given me a little bit of a flashback to that fun time. My typical method, I got my AutoZone bucket and I got my little pick tool. This is typically what I use to disassemble these little plugs. Lose that. There's the mailman in his Honda Element. All right, so with that off, we can see that we have a massive leak going on here. That is a compression fitting on that hose. So I'm probably not going to be able to fix that. I'm probably going to have to replace it. So I'll need to go ahead and order one of those. Yay. Okay, so the Element's clearly gonna need that hose replaced. Something else I'm doing is looking at the kids' car. I put a starter in this car yesterday. Didn't do a video because I'm pressed for time, and frankly, it's just not that hard. You go up underneath, there's a bolt that goes in this way, there's a bolt that goes in this way, there's a heat shield. Take the heat shield off, take the two bolts out, swap the starter out. It's not tricky. But I cleaned all this up yesterday. She's been losing coolant. And I cleaned all this up yesterday because I suspected, just as I did with the Honda a while back, this seam, this is the way a lot of these, this is a Denso. This is the same company that makes the radiator for the Honda Element, or just about any Honda, I think. And this seam is starting to fail. You can see right there the wet on that. So I'm gonna have to order her a radiator. You know how it is when the kids come to visit. You gotta put a little gas in the tank. So since I've got to order some parts, I'm actually not gonna fix this today, but I did want to do a video because it's been a little while since I've done one. We are heading up, I think it's 2 weeks left before my wife's organization does her annual fashion show. And there's a lot of work that goes into that. Because of that, I can be a little pressed for time this time of year, so I don't do as many videos in the end of the summer kind of thing. But we do have some stuff coming up. I'm gonna do a video on replacing that radiator. I'm gonna do a video on replacing this hose. I'm gonna do a video on some car seat covers that I got, because you guys saw those crap $10 ones that I put in that were just not worth, I mean, if you found those laying in the road, you should just drive by, don't bother. So I've been going through some clutch dramas. You guys know that. I put in a master cylinder, I put in a slave cylinder. I put in the hybrid racing system, which worked great for about 3 weeks. Then the clutch went out again. I've tried adjusting. I wasn't sure whether or not I had done something incorrect on the installation, or even if the parts from hybrid racing were fully compatible with this car. I'm not 100% sure. So I pulled that video that I did because I don't want to steer you wrong. And if you bought the hybrid racing system and you had it work and it's still working in your car, let me know, because I'm trying to sort that out. I've got a little test I'm going to do later after the runway show to try to determine whether or not that system will be a direct bolt onto this car. But in the end, what I started suspecting was that my throwout bearing had failed. That's really what I was pretty convinced of. So I ordered a kit, clutch kit and a throwout bearing. Then I thought, well, while I'm in there taking it apart, I might as well put in a flywheel. So I ordered a flywheel, got all these parts, and I was gonna do that job, and we're just getting too close to the show. So I paid a guy to put the clutch in, about $1,000, to drop the transmission, put the clutch and the flywheel in, put it back together, and now it's working perfectly. The hybrid racing system is not in it at the moment. I swapped it back out for a stock system, and it's working perfectly. Later, when I've got time, I'm gonna sit and go over whether or not the hybrid racing system will work in here. But I also wanted to point out that the money that I save in not having car payments and having lower insurance because it's an older, junkier car, doing a lot of the work myself, allows me the luxury to say, all right, I don't have the time to drop the transmission and keep the car apart for a week, so I can pay a guy to do it. One of the important factors when it comes to DIY work for your car is understanding your limitations. Yes, I can put in a clutch. I've put in clutches in VWs and Toyota pickups and all kinds of things. I just don't have the time right now to do it. So that's my limitation. My limitation is time. I just don't have it. Haven't really seen anything cool at the junkyard lately. You guys let me know. What do you want to see? It's been a while since I've done a video, so I figured I'd just drop this on you and show you what I'm up to. So until next time, this is Clint Searcy saying, don't know what you don't know. Only know what you know. When it comes to maintaining your vehicle, you can do it. I promise.